Okay, I think we'll get started. Um, so just like last time, I'm going to talk for probably around 30 minutes or so. I'm going to try to keep it a little briefer this time, and then I'll open it up for questions. So write your questions in the chat, and then after 30 minutes or I'm done talking / demonstrating, I'll kind of go through the chat, and I'll answer them one by one. So thank you for coming to another webinar. Really appreciate it. And this webinar is going to be super fun. It's about posting to Facebook. But these tricks, or what I'm going to show you, applies to Facebook, Instagram. It doesn't really matter. There's specific limitations for each platform, but all of the sort of ideas here will translate more or less. So what we're going to talk about today, or what I'm going to show you, is three different ways, three distinct ways to post an iGUIDE to Facebook. And then we'll talk about the advantages of each way. And I'm actually going to post it. I'm going to put it right on my Facebook feed and confuse my whole family with a bunch of random house posts. But before I show you the sort of the how, I think we need to very briefly talk about the why. So why would you post content to Facebook, or specifically iGUIDEs? So in the context of this webinar, the reason that we would be posting is to drive traffic to either our Facebook page or our website. And the goal would be to generate more business, to drive business with existing clients. So that means, retaining those clients, keeping those relationships going, and then also maybe getting some new clients. Who knows, right? So yeah, with that said, let's dive right in. So I want to show you something that I posted forever ago. So let's wait for that to load in. There we go. So this is a post I did on the iGUIDE forum ages ago, and it's basically how to make a good Facebook post. So we're going to use this because the ideas in here are still good. I'm going to cut out a few of the little things because they're not strictly speaking necessary, but this will be sort of the blueprint here. So if you want to find this, just go to the iGUIDE forum, type in Facebook in the search, and it'll come right up. It's just in the general discussion. Anyone can see it. So the first way that we're going to share an iGUIDE is the easy way. So there's no excuse not to do this because it's really, really simple. And you can do it from, well, a few different places, but I'll show you the first one. So I've got an iGUIDE here. Let's wait for that to load. There we go. And I can share this iGUIDE right from the interface by clicking on the share button. So the share button is down here, the three little balls with the lines. And when I click it, it brings up a whole bunch of options for sharing. So we're going to do Facebook, but you can see there's LinkedIn, Twitter, Pinterest, and just an email link. So if you click that, it'll bring up your email client, whatever your default is. There's also a link here that you could copy and paste anywhere you wanted, should you wish to. So fun fact, not a lot of people know, you can actually share the whole iGUIDE or a very specific view. So whatever it is that I'm looking at, I can have the iGUIDE start right there. So when someone loads up the link, they see exactly what I want them to see. So if I click the share button, I can click this use current 3D view button. And it's probably not super visible, but it appends a little bit of text on the end of the link that will mean when that link is loaded, it will load up right to the very thing that I'm looking at, right now. So that's kind of fun. So if you want to show someone something very specific, like, hey, get a load of this fireplace, you can have it be right in view, and then you can click use current view and then share that link, and then that's the first thing they'll see. So it's kind of neat. So we're not going to do that this time. We're just going to do it sort of in the general sense. And if you look closely, you can see this is just the normal, iGUIDE link, youriGUIDE.com / the address name. So I'm not going to change it. I'm just going to leave it like that. But when I click the Facebook button, what will happen is it will auto-populate a post for Facebook. So it's that easy. All I have to do now is click post, post a Facebook button at the bottom, and that's it. I've posted my content to Facebook. So that's really, really fast and easy. So there's really no excuse not to be posting the occasional iGUIDE on Facebook. I'm sure someone's going to ask me in the chat later, like, oh, how often should I post? And that's a kind of a tricky question to answer because it's kind of depends on what you're already posting or if you're doing a lot of shoots. But Because it's so easy, once a week, twice a week maybe would be totally cool. Either way, we're going to take it one step further. So because earlier I mentioned that the whole point of this is to drive business, we need to make this particular post more effective. And we're going to have to do this for every variation. So out of the three, we're going to do the same thing basically for each of them. So social posts are only as good as the number of people that see and engage with them. So if I just post this on my feed, I mean, yeah, my mom's going to see it. My cousins will see it. Maybe some people I work with if we're friends. But those aren't really the right people. I want other people to see it who I think would benefit. So those groups are going to depend on who you're working with in this case. So we're definitely going to say the agent, who has obviously hired you to be there. So we're gonna add people. We're gonna mention people on this post so that when I post it, not only will the people in my friend group or who follow me will see it, but also specific people who I mention here it'll come up in their feed as well. And they get a notification that says they were mentioned as well. So I'm going to add some people. So I'll add just some, here, I'll add my wife. That'll be fun. I'll add, what else can I add? There you go, I'll add Michael. So you could just do that, and that is better. So now a few people are going to see specifically that iGUIDE because maybe I worked with them on the project. So that could be anybody too. It could be the agent. It can be the stagers who staged it. It could be the brokerage that the agent works for. Anyone who has a Facebook presence can be mentioned in this way. But this does look kind of crummy because it's just some names sitting up there. So we're going to add some text as well. Now, the cool thing about posting this way is that you don't need to link to the iGUIDE because this is a link to the iGUIDE. If this gets clicked on, this thing, I'll show you when I post it, it'll load up the iGUIDE. So I don't have to add any links here if I don't want to, but you certainly can add links to anyone you want. So the website for your agent or their brokerage, or again, the stagers or someone else, you could add their links in here if you give them a mention, and they would certainly appreciate it. But I'm not very creative, so I'm just going to steal some text to put in here. And I'm going to go back to this post because there is some sample text that you can totally rip off if you want. So I'm going to modify it slightly. But you can see it says, take a tour of this great home in Los Angeles. Well, it's not in Los Angeles. We'll get rid of that. And then I'm going to get rid of the link because I don't need it, because the iGUIDE itself is a link. And then I'm also going to get rid of this link because, again, I don't need it. There we go. And that's just some, generic text, nothing fancy. Here we go. So what I've got now is I've got some text, that adds to the post and kind of explains what it is. I've got some people mentioned here, and then I've got the iGUIDE itself. So I'm just going to post that and show you what it looks like. Just get the first one out of the way. There we go. Hopefully before this webinar is over, my mom hits like on it. That'll be funny. So what I've got now is I've got the iGUIDE that is clickable. I opened it in a new tab, but you can see it opens the iGUIDE. And then I've got a brief amount of information down here kind of describing what is included in the iGUIDE. And then I've got a description and I've called some people out. So that's pretty good. That's not bad. If you only do that, you'll get by. But sort of the last thing I would recommend if you're going to sort of go through the trouble of putting this on here, even though it was easy, is that you share it somewhere. So just making a post is great because people in your feed are going to see it. People follow you, like you. Anybody you call out is going to see it. They may share it. So if they share it, then you're going to get another boost. Anyone in their circle of friends will see it. But there's a cool trick you can do where you can click share, and then you can share in a group. So groups can be all sorts of weird stuff. And you have to kind of choose where you wanted to share it. So typically you would share it in a sort of real estate focus group. I had great luck sharing a lot of this stuff in sort of local groups. So my local community has like a hub group. So if houses would come up in this area and they have iGUIDEs, I would just share them on there because I thought it was cool. But if you do that, groups can have thousands of people. And all of a sudden, those posts go into that group. And then when they go into that group, you're going to see that every time someone comments on it, it gets pushed to the top. So they're not like people's feeds where something comes up and then everything else comes in after and it gets buried. In a group, things can ride like a wave, you know, and often they're starved for content anyway, so it looks good. So I'm going to share in a group for fun. I'm not going to add any extra text, but I have to be a member of the group. So here, I'll share it in my city. It's not actually in the city, but that's okay. They'll probably just delete it. So now that I've posted it, it's going to be sent to approval by the admin for that group, and they're going to yay or nay it. So yeah, that's a good question. I just saw it pop up in the chat. So I'm sharing as a personal account right now. I couldn't get my business one working before this demo. You have a few extra options as a business when you're posting. I can't show you, but I guess I'll just verbally describe it. When you click the share button on Facebook, or sorry, in the iGUIDE viewer, and it goes to Facebook, you're going to see it pre-populate that iGUIDE sort of window. Here, I'll just click it again to show you. So this is going to exist. It's going to pop up. But if you have a business page, what happens is that it's going to give you extra options. You can cycle through them, and you can choose. Actually, so I need to get as many new friend requests during this video as possible. They're just, my phone's literally dinging right now. So the options that you get are with the start, you can have it be the iGUIDE viewer, or it can be like something from the gallery, like the first image or something. So I can't show you that today because I couldn't get it working, but that's if you share it as a business account. You have, or a business page, you have different options than what I have just on my personal page. But either way, that's pretty small and minor, and you can choose to change it if you want. I prefer the default anyway, so I mean, that's just me. All right, cool. So I'm going to show you a really quick trick that you can use. So let's suppose that you want to share this iGUIDE. Well, there's absolutely nothing wrong with copying the link itself and just pasting it into Facebook. So here, I'll go here, and I'm just going to paste it in. Are you ready? So when I do that, it auto-populates the post. Oh, look, I've got the little arrows this time. All right, cool. Check this out. So I guess I do have the option on my personal page. Okay, so that's what I was literally just talking about. You can have it start with this being the first image that people see, or you can click this little arrow and you can use the first image in the gallery. That's not a particularly nice launch, so we'll just use this one. But my point with that was that you can just copy and paste the link and it will still work. And that is pretty neat. All right, I'm just gonna confirm here. Yes, Marshall, I will be your friend. There you go. And I'm recording this, so that's recorded forever now. So the next thing I want to show you is how to share a photosphere. So sharing a photosphere has some benefits. So it's not as easy. There's a little more work you have to do. It's still pretty easy though. But it has the advantage of adding a little bit of motion, so that when people scroll down, it moves a little bit and it catches people's eye. So sometimes that can boost engagement. Also, it's just different content. So if you want to post multiple pieces of content, hold on, I have a friend request. I just have to confirm this. There we go. Thank you. If you want to post multiple times for one property, you can totally do that. You can post the iGUIDE first, then post the photosphere second, then do something else third. So again, the advantage is that there's some motion there. So I'm going to show you how to do that. Literally like right from the iGUIDE portal. So you don't have to download all the photospheres to get the one that you want. So I'm just going to find my, I'm going to spell it right though, find my iGUIDE on the portal. There you go. No, still spelled it wrong. And when I find it, what I'm going to do is I'm going to click the blue edit button right here. And then I'm going to click on the replace panel. Actually, no, you know what I'll do? I'll go to the report. That's probably easier. iGUIDE view report. And then I'm going to click on the photospheres link in the report. Then I'll get them all and you can see them all. So what I was going to say was that you could go to the replace panel images and just download the one, and that's totally fine. But that won't work for this property because it's too old. So I'm just going to download the photospheres now. So this is every photosphere for the whole property. It's only 22 megs. I'll unzip it for you and show you what it looks like. And I'm just going to pick one. I'm going to pick the nice one. Maybe, I don't know, the kitchen, if it's nice. I think this property had a nice kitchen. So I'll just increase the size here so you guys can see what I'm looking at. So each of these images is a unique photosphere. And when I upload it to Facebook, Facebook will know what it is, and it will automatically turn it into a fully navigable 360. And it will auto-rotate a little bit as I scroll down. So that's where that motion comes in that I mentioned earlier. As people are scrolling through their feeds, it'll do this wiggle thing, which I'll show you. So let's pick a cool one. Yeah, let's do the kitchen. P9S. Okay. So I'm going to go back to Facebook. Get rid of this. See you later. See you later link. Let's try that again. There we go. Smooth as a puma. All right, so what we're going to do is we're going to post a photo or video. So it's that simple. You just click photo or video, and then it's going to ask me to choose one. So I'm going to go back to that folder, and I'm going to pick the file that I wanted. So it was P9S. So again, I'm just taking one image out of the group of photospheres that I downloaded. And I'm just uploading it to Facebook. Now, I don't know if you guys can see this, but that was really quick. Well, I'll describe what you just saw. So there was a little picture that showed what looked like a little 360 kind of icon when you're uploading it. And that just means Facebook's saying, oh, I recognize this. It's a 360-degree image. Now, you have some options as well when you upload this that you don't have in the previous one. You can tag people in it. You're not going to probably have people in your photospheres, but if you do, you can tag them. And also you can choose the start position. So I'm going to click Edit 360 Settings, and it's going to ask me to pick a starting view. So I'll pick this. No, that's kind of dull. Let's pick the island. This wasn't the greatest panel. Okay, fine. We'll pick this. There you go. So I can choose to display it as a 360 photo or not. So obviously I want it to be a 360. So I'm going to have my starting view look like this, and then I'm going to click Save. Now it's going to save that, and when it appears on my feed, it's going to start at that position. So I'm going to click, I'm not going to click Post. This is the whole point of this webinar, is that if I posted it as it is now, yeah, it'll work. It'll appear in my feed, and people I know, like my mom, will see it. That's great. But I want everyone to see it. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to go back to my post. I'm going to take my text. I'm going to copy it, and I'm going to paste it in. And then I'm going to modify it to suit my needs. Now, the difference here is that this does not contain a link to the iGUIDE. This just has a photosphere. So I now have to include the link to the iGUIDE. Otherwise, no one will be able to get to it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to change this again. It's not in Los Angeles. There you go. I'm going to modify the text to suit the property. And then I'm going to replace this link with the tour link. Copy. That's this link right here. And I could click this little copy button if I wanted it as well. So I'm going to go back to Facebook. No, wrong one. This one. And I'm going to paste that link in. So you'll see it doesn't appear as a link, but it will. Facebook will figure it out. They're pretty cool. So now, the last step is going to be to tag some people, because if I don't tag anybody, no one's going to see it. Or the people I want to see it won't necessarily see it. So again, I'll add here. Let's see if we can add Marshall. Will it work? There you go. I'm going to add you, buddy. Who else can we add? Let's see. Add someone else from the office. There you go, Marcella. Okay, so now I've tagged some people. So just tagging people alone is fine. But if you want to add in any conversational elements like, oh, it was really great working with you, Marshall Walker, you know, when you're calling out the agent, you could totally do that too. So now I've got my text, I've got my link to my iGUIDE so people can get to the tour. I've got my photosphere with the correct starting position, and I've tagged some people in it. You know, I've done some mentions. Okay, we're good. I'm going to click Post. Now, when I do that, what's going to happen is that it's going to appear in my feed. And now watch this. So as I scroll, see how it moves? I don't know if this is going to come across when I do it through the video feed because it's kind of stuttery. But as I scroll up and down, it wiggles. So give it a try later. You'll see it. As soon as you post one and you scroll up and down, it'll move. So that's very eye-catching. Another cool thing I just noticed last week was that Facebook has boosted the resolution on all their photospheres like through the roof. It's way better now. It used to be terrible, but now it's really nice. But they're slow to load. So when you first load them up, sometimes they're a little bit low res. And then if you just wait, it'll like fill in. Actually, I could probably show you if I... No, it's fully loaded, this one. But either way, when you post these, they can be very eye-catching because they sort of move, you know, when you go up and down. All right, let's see where we're at. Oh yeah, lots of time. Cool. So the last way I'm going to show you is the trickiest way, but it's also kind of the best way. So Facebook really likes when you upload video. I don't know why, they just love it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to upload a screen capture video. So I've mentioned this in previous webinars, and creating screen capture videos is really, really simple, but it can be a little bit daunting because you're still working with video. But my official recommendation across the board is that if you don't have a way of making screen captures using software, just figure it out. Just do it because it's totally worth it. So I'll show you what I made earlier. Just close some of these windows here. So I made a little video earlier. I just loaded up the iGUIDE and I just navigated around. And I recorded the screen while I did it. And what I'm going to do is post this to Facebook. Now what Facebook's going to do is it's going to autoplay that video as soon as it comes up into my feed or anyone's feed. The benefit of that is you get that motion, you know, that sort of eye-catching motion. And it's better than doing the photosphere in some cases because you're seeing an actual representation of the iGUIDE. And iGUIDEs are cool. People are like, oh, that's interesting. What is that, you know? So I would say that it's slightly better. The downside is that it's more work. Obviously, you have to do the screen recording. So I use this program that you can kind of see down here on my taskbar there called Camtasia. It's really good, but it's expensive. There's lots of other options that are free, you know, that are maybe less good, I don't know. But often you can use your phone to create this. And if you use your phone, often they have screen recorders built in. Every phone's a little different. Mine has one built in. I don't really use it, but it's an option. So my recommendation would be that you just figure out some way to get this done because it looks awesome. So here, I'll show you. So I'm going to go here and I'm going to do, you know, exactly what I did before, more or less. I'm going to click on photo video. And then I'm going to go select my screen capture. And if screen capturing, just one more thing about screen capturing, if it's very challenging, if people find it that challenging, I can do a whole webinar on just screen capturing because there's a lot of little interesting facets to it that you can do, and that I could show you guys. So there you go. I've posted the video. So I could hit post right there and be done with it, but that would create a very boring post. So I obviously want a lot of people to see it. So I'm gonna do the same thing I did before. Are you seeing a pattern yet? I'm gonna go here. I'm gonna copy this text out, figure out where I hid Facebook. There we go. I'm gonna paste the text in, and then I'm gonna modify it. And it's not in Los Angeles. And again, I need to add a link just like before. Because the iGUIDE isn't physically here. It's just a video of the iGUIDE. So I'm going to copy the link. I'm just copying it from the URL bar, but obviously I could copy it from there as well. And then I'm going to paste the link in. Now in that Facebook post, it suggests using a link shortener, and you certainly could do that. A link shortener takes this big long link and squashes it down into a teensy tiny little one. That's a little bit more attractive and easier to handle. You want to do it? That's cool. Go ahead. I'm not going to bother for this purpose of this demonstration though. So there you go. I've got my text. Now I'm going to mention some people. So I don't know if I said this already. In order to mention people in a post, you hit the @ symbol and then you begin typing their name and they'll come up in this list. Super easy. So I'll add my wife again for fun. I'll add Kelly. I don't see her on here though. That's okay. Here, I'll add Michael again for fun. I'll drive him nuts. There you go. So I've added some people, and then I'm going to click post, and I'm going to get something that I will show you. So again, with video is a little bit weird. Facebook really loves video, but at the same time, it's going to slow you down a bit because what happens is when you post, Facebook has to run it through its copyright detection algorithms to check to see if you have any like copyrighted music or anything. So it doesn't get posted right away. I don't know if you guys can see this, but down in the corner here, it said your video is already ready. So it's a quick video. So it was able to analyze it really fast. So I'm just going to hit reload here, show you what it looks like. There you go. So as I scroll down now, it'll autoplay. There's no sound, so it's muted, but that's fine. And it's very eye-catching, and it really gives you a good impression of what the iGUIDE is and what it can do. There's a link here. I can click on it. I've called out some people. The only thing I haven't done with this one and the previous Photosphere post is to share them to a group. But even though that's optional, you can get a lot of eyes on your property if you do that. So I would recommend you do that for every property that you can. All right, let's see. Where are we at here? We're good. Okay, cool. I'm going to start answering questions now. All right. Are you sharing to a group as a business page or personal? Yeah, personal. It's possible. As a business, you might not be able to share to certain groups. Yeah, there might be limitations there that I'm not aware of. That's entirely possible. Do we have marketing in place? What do better pay marketing in place? I guess yes, we do. I don't know what it is. You'll have to call Michael and ask. He does the ads, but yep, we do. iPhone screen record and then Adobe Rush to edit quickly. Yeah, absolutely. There's a lot of different systems. There's Snagit. My phone is weird and has like a strange built-in screen recorder that just dumps it on the desktop. But I used to have another app called AZ Screen Record. It was really good. I used to use it all the time. It's pretty great. Hashtags. Oh, I'm glad you asked, actually. So I don't like hashtags. It's a personal preference. I think they look dumb, but it makes sense. So if you have a very specific thing that you want to call out for a property that relates to a hashtag, then heck yeah, absolutely. So if let's suppose there's a very specific hashtag that's being used for, I don't know, Remax agents, hashtag Remax or something, then yeah, for sure, go nuts. They're going to be very specific from property to property. And you'll have to figure out what they are. I can't tell you. But yep, absolutely. When people are searching for those hashtags, your property is going to come up. I don't know if people actually search for hashtags ever. So
yes, they do.
Do they? I know you add them, but
of course they do. Hashtags are helpful. They're more helpful on Instagram than they are on Facebook, just because they were kind of birthed out of, I don't know the specifics, but they kind of became a thing once Instagram really took off.
I think it came from Twitter.
So a lot of times when you see hashtags that are in Facebook, it's because people are posting the same posts on Facebook and Instagram. So you can search by hashtags. I've searched by hashtags. A lot of times to know what good hashtags are, it's just to pay attention to what other people are doing in your industry. Like a lot of times you can use hashtags for the city, use hashtags just for real estate tech. Like we have a bunch that we always use and that are associated with us. And then also just creating one for yourself so that if you want to check out what your posts look like on
that's a good one.
You can create like hashtag Broad Mountain or whatever your business is, your name is, however you want to kind of brand yourself. So sorry for jumping in, Chris, but
no, thank you. That was awesome. That was a way better explanation of hashtags than I could get.
Sure.
Amazing. Okay, next question. Do you have experience sharing iGuides on Instagram? Yep. You can't share iGuides in the same way on Instagram because they won't let you share with that first method that I showed you where you click the link. It doesn't work the same way. You can share an image, basically, or a video, and that's about it. You can obviously add links in, and you're limited to posting, for the most part, on mobile, which is a bit frustrating. When you share on Instagram, you also have that weird Instagram aspect ratio, which is 1:1. It's like a square, and that tends to chop the important parts of the iGuide off. So if you just did a screen capture image of like an iGuide and you post it on Instagram, it formats weird. Not every time, but most of the time, and a video as well, video particularly. Sorry. So you have to kind of test out your posts and sort of get a system that works for you. But I mean, you can do it. Again, it's going to be images and video, and that's it. I forget the limit for Instagram. Is it 60 seconds? Do you know, Kelly, for video?
I think it's 30 seconds,
30
but I
seconds?
could be wrong. It's like 30 to 60 at the most.
Cool. I mean, that's about it. You don't need any longer than 30 seconds. Like this video is 25 seconds. It's fine. Looks really well. Um, do you have this? Yes, I am recording the whole webinar. I'm going to put it on the forum afterward. I miss Camtasia making that little snippet of video. Yeah, I didn't show that, but I will show it because we have lots of time. That's good. Oh, so TechSmith released a free app called Capture for iOS devices. Oh, snappy. Integrates with Snag and Camtasia. I just love Camtasia. It's really great software. I'll do a screen recording right now and show you guys how easy it is for fun. So I'll load up Camtasia. I don't know how much is going to come across in the video stream, obviously because I'm sending this to you while playing an iGUIDE and recording it. That might not work, but we'll give it a try. So here's Camtasia. It's a basic video editing suite. If I want to record something, I click the record button at the top. This software is really designed right from the beginning for screen capture, and then they sort of started to incorporate more video editing aspects. But the recording part's pretty rock solid. So if I click record, I get a little kind of record window that comes up. I'm not sure if you guys can actually see this. Oh, yes, you can. Perfect. So I'm going to just click record. And it's going to begin recording my screen. It's going to count me in. And then I'm going to go to the iGUIDE and I'm going to load it up full screen. And then what I like to do is show some visual navigation. So just clicking visually on the panoramas and then switch to Floorplan Navigation. So I'll just click on sort of rooms I think are cool. Give some highlights of the home. And after I've gotten to about 20 or 30 seconds, that's it. I'll just call it there and I'll hit stop on my recorder. And what happens is Camtasia automatically loads it into this little video editing timeline. The cool thing is you don't need to know anything other than to chop off the beginning and the end. So I was pretty sloppy when I did that and I pressed record before I had the iGUIDE loaded up. So I'm going to move my scrubber bar over until the footage is clean. So what clean, I mean, doesn't have any weird UI elements. You can see it says press escape to exit full screen. I'll wait till that's gone. And this is the tricky part. So we're now into the video editing. I'm going to chop off the first part of the clip, and then I'm going to go to the end of the clip, and I'm going to chop off the end so it doesn't look ugly. And then basically, that's my finished video. So that's all the editing I'm doing. I'm just chopping off the end and chopping off the beginning. And then I would click export, and it would create a video for me, and I would just put it on my desktop. And that's how I got that video that I made. And they're very small too. Yeah, it's like 9 megabytes. So it's a very tiny video. Really easy to make. And that's how long it takes to make, as long as it takes you to click record and just navigate through the iGUIDE. There's a few tricks you can use if you want. So I'll show you one. I don't like this, but some people really do. You can put it in autoplay. And as it's scrolling through the tour, you can just click on the different rooms and get kind of a semi-automated kind of look to it. I think that looks cheesy, so I don't use it, but I get why people do, so that's cool. But like I said, there's lots of different types of screen recording software, and they allow you to create content basic from anything that you can see. So using screen recording software, you can record the iGUIDE for posting on Facebook and Instagram or anywhere else, but you can also post it on YouTube. So if you want some really, really easy to create video content for YouTube, that is the fastest way to do it. Like and you have full control too. So you hit record and then you just look at interesting stuff in the property and then you just click save and you export it as a video. And there's no AI on the planet that can make a better video than you can with your human brain. So, because you know what looks good. So that's my favorite way of doing that. 60 seconds. Yeah, okay, so the limit for Instagram is 60 seconds. That's good. That's a lot of time. post an image, yeah, and then add a link. Yeah, another Camtasia user. It's just good software. I like it better than Adobe Premiere. Adobe Premiere sort of sucks. If you just want to do something really fast, you just want to make a quick screen capture, it's like a nightmare. But Camtasia, easy, 30 seconds. Can step-by-step guide be created of posting for Facebook? No, it's great, and having step-by-step would be awesome. Appreciated for all softwares. Absolutely. So what I'll do is I will update my post, making a great Facebook post that's here. This is a step-by-step guide. It tells you what to do. Find an iGUIDE, click the share button. But we've gotten a little more sophisticated, like posting photospheres wasn't around. Like this was in October 2017. That's a long time ago. And then the video thing, we didn't really do that. We weren't that keen on it. Yeah, so I'll just update this post and that'll be a guide. And then you'll also have the webinar as well. What about LinkedIn? Yeah, LinkedIn is apparently like not necessarily blowing up, but definitely starved for content. And it's a great place to share, but it really depends on the audience that you've got in LinkedIn. So it could be awesome. So if you're on LinkedIn and you're really well connected to all of your existing agents and maybe part of some groups that maybe agents are a part of, maybe it's a really good idea to start posting content there. I'm sure it is. My LinkedIn profile is a little neglected. If you guys want to go on and connect with me, please do. So it wouldn't be great for me. It never would have been. It just wasn't popular when I was shooting full time. But yeah, absolutely. If you think LinkedIn is a great place for you to market stuff, then yeah, absolutely. They definitely have the ability to do video, and they're very starved for video right now, just like Facebook apparently. Mac has built-in screen record. Is that true? That's awesome. Okay, if that's the case, then there's very little excuse because a lot of you are using Macs. All right, what time is it now? Okay, 2:39. So I'm going to cut it off there unless anyone else has any extra questions. This is your last chance to ask me questions. Okay, I don't see any coming up. So I'm going to do a few final mentions. If you wouldn't mind, yeah, post the stories. I don't ever do that, but that's very popular. But if you guys wouldn't mind, go on Facebook and Instagram and like us, iGUIDE. Also, if you wouldn't mind, if you do post iGUIDEs, it never hurts to put the hashtag iGUIDE in there so that we can find it as well. Don't forget that the forum is always available to you, forum.goiguide.com. It's blowing up right now. There's lots of people on there. There you go. Kelly put the hashtag in there for you. I want to remind you about our marketing catalog. So if you go to goiguide.com and click on the resources button, there's all sorts of goodies there you can use to market to your agents. The knowledge base, it's growing. So there's a lot of new articles there, and that's at support.youriguide.com. If you have questions about how to do anything, that's the place you go. And there's a search function, and basically you can search for knowledge-based articles relating to any topic you might want to know. And the last thing I will mention is that next week's webinar is going to be about Stitch. So what I'm going to do, it may be a little dry, I apologize for that. I'm going to go through every single option in Stitch, everything, every button, every hotkey, everything. And I'm going to show what you can do and talk about some of the advantages of working in Stitch when you're kind of configuring your iGUIDE before it's published. So I would highly encourage you to come there because it can be a huge time saver. You can figure cool things out that you might not have known just by skimming through the help section on there. Okay, that's it. Thank you so much, everyone. It was a pleasure. I really enjoyed doing these. I'm glad some people showed up today. Have a great day and have a great weekend. Cheers.